I just got this. I just got this, and Apple brings out new gear. Hang on, I just got this as well. Okay, hello. I'm William Gallagher. This is 58 Keys, which, as ever, as always, is for writers like you and me who use and write on Macs and iPads and iPhones, which keep getting replaced. Don't focus on that. I was going to say do subscribe because there's always a lot to talk about, but maybe never more so than right now, times like now, when Apple has had a big launch event and there are new devices for writers and other people. But yeah. In all seriousness, if it's common that a new Apple event makes you want the new Git, well, no, there's no escaping that. It always does. It often also makes anything you've got seem old somehow. I don't know how they do it, but actually this time, the March 8, 2022 event, it didn't have as much of that as usual. Not for us as writers. There were, 5 new things, but for what we do and for what budget writers tend to be on, only 2, I think, were clearly for us. So let me tell you about those 2, but then actually I'd like to quickly tell you the rest, because some of it's very nice, and I do not see why writers can't have nice things, although the price is possibly a factor. The one main thing I think that was launched for us as writers was the new iPad Air. While the regular iPad, it's the best combination of price and features. Right now, the new iPad Air, I think, is the best all-round iPad for writers and probably anyone. It often is. All practical advice, is that the regular iPad suits us just fine, but the iPad Air, it's a bit special. Just sometimes the iPad Air is so good that it makes you wonder why anyone would buy the much more expensive 11-inch iPad Pro. I bought an 11-inch iPad Pro, but yeah, if I were buying today, no hesitation. I love the iPad Pro, but it would be the iPad Air I'd be getting, and I'd be saving quite a lot of cash. My reasons for buying the iPad Pro last year includes how it comes with the M1 processor, which is the same as in my Office Mac Mini. So that's fast, but it also means that the iPad Pro I bought will last longer. I mean, hopefully for very, very many years. The new iPad Air, it has the same M1 processor. It also works with the iPad Magic Keyboard, which is a fantastic feature of the iPad Pro. There are differences, of course. The iPad Air screen is 10.9 inches diagonally, whereas you'll never guess how big the screen is on the 11-inch iPad Pro. See if you can, look, I'm not going to say that 0.1 of an inch isn't noticeable, because we're a funny bunch, writers. Yeah, we notice things, but it's probably not a problem. Also, to be fair, you do get better rear cameras on the iPad Pro. There's more storage on the iPad Pro if you're willing to pay for it. And the USB-C port, the connection for power and data, it's faster. That could well matter to you, but I know none of it does to me in my writing or my writing business. And if it did, the £180 or $200 price difference might make up for it. It might make me feel better about going for the cheaper machine. The new iPad Air starts at £569 or $599. That gets you 64 gigabytes storage, which is tight. The only other storage option is 256 gigabytes, which makes it cost £791 or $749. And those prices are for the Wi-Fi only model, which is all I ever buy. For cellular, so you can use the internet when you're wherever you are, and now using 5G, add £150 or $150 plus your monthly cellular contract deal. So the new iPad Air, it's kind of a compromise. It's more expensive than the regular iPad, and it's cheaper than the iPad Pro. But right now, I think it's the better deal than both. That changes as each of the 3 models gets updated. But right now, the iPad, well, it is just you and me here, and other people wouldn't understand. But the iPad Air is the one you can lust after. Is that too much? It's too much. The other device that Apple has launched for writers, it's quite a bit different, I think. No lust here, just practicality. The new iPhone SE costs £419 or $429, and that is the key feature. What you get for that price, it's a great iPhone, now with 5G, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with it. Well, the 5G is limited. There are two 5Gs in this world, and the SE only has the slower one. But then I'm in the UK. No iPhone here supports the apparently faster mmWave 5G. Apple keeps that for iPhones in America only. Fine. Yeah. No. That's fine. Don't mind the rest of us. We'll get over that. Here's the thing though. I don't think I can overemphasize that the iPhone SE is a remarkable phone. I mean, it's a true bargain. It is as close as Apple has ever got to making something cheap. And right, I mean, that's not very close, but Apple. So, only I don't like it. Oh look, this is obviously just me, and I am spoilt by how I usually have an iPhone 13 Pro, but I've been using a 2020 iPhone SE for the past few months. I mean, not all the time, but mixed in there, and I don't like it. The screen's great, but the screen of my iPhone 13 Pro is so much better. The iPhone SE, I mean, it's fast, it's responsive, but my iPhone 13 Pro is so much better. I do like the smaller size of the iPhone SE, but I've come to find Touch ID, using your thumb or finger to unlock, was it weirdly tedious when you're used to just looking at the phone and it unlocking. I mean, that said, I really like Touch ID on my MacBook Pro. I'm a fickle writer. If you don't have an iPhone at all, or if you have one that's a few years old, the iPhone SE is going to seem great to you. I do think it was interesting how Apple kept stressing how much faster the SE is than the old iPhone 8. They didn't seem to compare the new iPhone SE to the old iPhone SE, which makes me a little suspicious. I think the improvements aren't exactly dramatic between those two models, but still, for the price and for the features, iPhone SE wins, and it is great that Apple has launched a new one with 5G, but hold that thought for just 1 second. Yeah, strictly speaking, that's it for what Apple launched, I think, specifically for writers. I mean, okay, they also launched, is it Friday Night Baseball or football or something on Apple TV? Yeah, maybe that's your thing. Sport, whatever. But there was also a new iPhone 13 and iPhone 13 Pro. And the only difference between these and the ones released last September when I got mine is green. The two new phones are available in different versions of green, and I wouldn't go for that myself, partly because the Apple video is scary, but it does look good. That said, you would pay double the cost of an iPhone SE to get an iPhone 13 Pro. And to get a regular iPhone 13, you're paying around £370 or $360 more than you would for the SE. But they are both better iPhones. If you can afford it, if you can manage it, if you can justify the cost, you will be happier with them. Whereas if you can justify the cost of the next thing Apple launched, I will be so envious of you. Writers need and writers deserve fast Macs. We deserve a Mac that's fast enough that it never holds us back, that it's just us and our writing. It'd be good if it were fast enough to let us do everything else we might have to or want to in our writing business. And actually, I'm writing faster now. I have a MacBook Pro. So seriously, even just for typing one word after another, I can see a difference that a fast Mac makes. You pay for that, but it makes a difference. It's really good. As of the March 8th, 2022 event, there's now a new, even faster Mac. It's the Mac Studio, and I don't think it's the prettiest box Apple's ever made, but it's the fastest Mac by some enormously long way. I mean, really, I said you could lust after the iPad Air, but you want a Mac Studio in your life, just not when you're being practical. The Mac Studio starts at $2,000 or £2,000, and it goes up to £8,000 or dollars. I mean, I know Microsoft Word is slow, but spending £8,000 to get it going. Mac Studio, it is for writers, but writers who also produce video and music and games and apps. If you write apps, you go for it. Get a Mac Studio. I'm not recommending a Mac Studio for writers like I am and that I imagine you might be. And I'm not buying one, but I'm also not willing to rule it out solely on price. Long experience has taught me that it is worth spending more on a Mac because of how very many years of use you get out of them, certainly compared to PCs. Although, actually, speaking of cost, there is one little bit more, one slightly bit more that you need to know. The new Mac Studio is headless, it's called. It's like the Mac Mini or the now pretty worthless top of the range but only in price Mac Pro, in that it comes without a monitor. Guess what? Apple's launched a new monitor. It is designed to go with the Mac Studio, but really it's a monitor for any Mac. The Apple Studio Display. It's a 27-inch monitor with 5K resolution. Both of those figures are just very good. There's technical analysis for you. I envied them both actually when they were in the old 27-inch 5K iMac. Whether this new screen is better in some way or not visually, I don't know. But it's good that you can take the great old 27-inch iMac screen and use it with the Mac Studio, the Mac Mini, the MacBook Pro. And it has speakers, it has a great camera. But I have seen Apple's other monitor, the Pro Display XDR in the flesh, and that is 6K. You see that and you want it. You see the £4,500 or dollars price of the Pro Display XDR, and maybe you don't quite so much. As Apple Studio Display is lower resolution, lower price, I'm just not persuaded by it. It costs from £1,500 or dollars, and I'm sure it's very nice, but I think you can probably do better. And I would so love 5K or 6K for this wide monitor of mine. I'm just not tempted by the Apple Studio Display. You might be, but I'm not. Wait, sorry. I said 5 things and that was 5 things, but Apple did actually release something else. I mean, it wasn't really showcased at the event, but it was there. It was on a slide. To stylistically match the new Mac Studio, Apple has released a new keyboard, mouse and trackpad. And I was tempted enough by the keyboard to go look it up. It has Touch ID, which, as I say, somehow it's a chore on the iPhone SE, yet I like it a lot on my MacBook Pro. That's quite tempting. It also looks pretty good. But that keyboard costs £200 or $200. Yeah, if there's anything we use to death, it is our keyboards. And Apple does make great ones. I think they are worth the money once you've got over the paying bit. And actually, although I had to replace my keyboard in July 2020, and look, somehow I've already worn away a lot of the keys. Clearly I should get a new one. We'll see. I probably won't buy the new keyboard, not yet, which means I won't be buying anything from the new Apple event. I said that when you spend more on Macs or any Apple gear, that you do get devices that last and last and last, and they're great devices. I look at this event and I see that the iPad Air is great value for us. I see that the iPhone SE is practical, and I might secretly want a Mac Studio, but I don't need any of them because I've already got Macs and an iPad and an iPhone that are superb. Well, no, not superb. They are fantastic. Actually, they are transformative devices for my writing and for my writing business. So yes, I just got those, but I'm very happy. That's it for this edition of 58 Keys. Thank you very much for watching. Now, take care of yourself, eh? Write more as well. You and me both. And I'll see you soon.